New York, New York. Not gonna sing anymore, not because of my luscious pipes can't take it. Wait, pause. But because I don't want to get copyright strike. I don't know if you can tell that the room is orange. That is because the New York Knicks have just won the 2026 NBA championship, winning in 5 games against the San Antonio Spurs today in a game 5 where we saw Jalen Brunson, the finals MVP, score 45 points out of his team's 94 points. He also assisted on 3 assists, which means that, calculating math, he scored or assisted on more than 50% of his team's points in a closeout game on the road in San Antonio, in a game where the Spurs have literally nothing to lose other than this game. They have to win every game. They must come out fighting. And as they did in every single game in this series, they came out in the first quarter with a double-digit lead, with a 16-point lead. It was 15-31. Going into the 9 minutes into the second quarter, the Knicks were, for the majority of the first quarter, 2 buckets, 3 buckets. That's it. And we were watching the game, and my mom said the Knicks are going to come back. And I wanted to believe it too. Ultimately, I kind of thought the Knicks might lose this game. I thought the Spurs would come out with a little bit more, and that we would go to game 6. Knicks would win in game 6, win in New York. New York would blow up in an amazing catastrophe celebration of joy and laughter and wonder and volcano of the world. You know, all of that would happen on Tuesday in game 6. However, it didn't happen because, like my mom predicted, the Knicks came back. But this was an absolute rock fight. It ended up being 94-90. Again, Jalen Brunson scored 45 of his team's points. Nobody else got it going. Once again, Cat got into foul trouble. OG did not have the same game. Mikal Bridges was better in this game, but for literally through 3 quarters, the Knicks had this many bench points. They had 0 bench points from everybody, from Landry Shamet, Deuce McBride, Mitchell Robinson. Everybody was just nothing from the bench. And the Spurs weren't that much better. I mean, they came out swinging. But again, this game just turned into, it was just defense, defense, defense. Mikal Bridges ended up with 14 points on 10 shots. Josh Hart, 13 and 11. Another good shooting game from Josh Hart, 3 of 6 from 3. OG Anunoby had 11 points on 11 shots, only made 1 3 after was being perfect in the second half in the last game. Mitchell Robinson had 2 points, 10 rebounds, however, 6 offensive rebounds. Definitely Mitch Robinson's best game of the series. He's kind of struggled to find the time. He's had to come in radically for when Cat gets in foul trouble. I feel like his offensive rebounding wasn't as big of a deal for most of the series. He wasn't as effective, but in this game, he really was. And Cat only was able to play 23 minutes. Like, at the end of the day, he just could not stay on the court today because he did foul out eventually. When did he even have his fouls? He had a foul in the first quarter, 2 fouls in the second quarter, a foul in the third quarter. He had a foul in the third quarter and played 0 minutes recorded. So obviously that means he must have got it in a few seconds. And then 2 fouls in the 7 minutes he played. Like literally 2 points, 10 rebounds, 5 turnovers. Oh my gosh. So not a great Cat game. Landry Shamet had 5 points. Jordan Clarkson had 2 points. Like, it was really rough from the bench, but it doesn't matter because Jalen Brunson puts up 45 points in a closeout game on the road. You know who else did that? Michael Jordan in 1998. 1998. Obviously, Giannis had 50-point closeout game, but he was at home. And yeah, he put 14 of 27. Like, he was efficient too. A third quarter, 14 points. Fourth quarter, 15 points. 4 of 6 shooting. And I mean, he's scoring from all over the place at the rim, from 3, the mid-range area. Yeah, he was great in this game, all around. There were some foul bait moments there, you know, on some 3-point shots, but it was like, hey, nobody else on the Knicks is helping this guy right now. I don't mind for it too much. I mean, at the end of the day, these teams were very close. I mean, 31 made shots to 33 for the Spurs. Both had 12 threes. Some more free throws for the Knicks. Spurs only had two more turnovers. Knicks had only one more rebound. Spurs had four more assists. Like, this was a very tightly contested game. Um, Dylan Harper, I'm sorry, Dylan Harper with 25 points, 20-year-old rookie, 25 points to stay alive in this series. He was just incredible. He's just such an amazing talent at getting to the rim. He even hit a couple shots outside the painted area for once. Once he gets a real jumper, bro, it's gonna be over. But yeah, he was great in this game. Unfortunately, literally in the fourth quarter, when I don't remember the exact score, but it was like if he scores on this, I believe the Spurs would take the lead back after the Knicks finally got the lead. Again, the Spurs were in the lead for the majority of this game and the majority of the series. We'll get to that. But Dylan Harper had a bucket where it was just a classic, like pretty not it was contested, but it was a layup that he made much harder layups in this game. And he just missed it. I remember he had one sequence in this game where he missed his own like layup, got his own rebound and put it back up. He's just ridiculous getting to the rim. He's so strong. You can go any angle, left or right, off the glass, just crazy angles. This kid is unbelievable. Unfortunately, he missed that shot. Wembanyama in this game, 14 rebounds, 19 points, 5 blocks. I thought he had a great first quarter, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks. And then as the game went on, was worse and worse. Um, Ended up shooting 7 of 19, 1 of 5 in the fourth quarter. Not a great offensive series from Wembanyama. I think this series overall really showcased a few things. First, I think the lack of strength he still has as a center. He doesn't have a real go-to move other than like throw the ball up, the lob, because the lob is throw the ball up and Wemmy's gonna get it. And that is valuable. The lateral threat of Wembanyama is obviously very valuable. It's just the lack of strength to be able to get to his spots at all times where he gets the ball, often not like he's not able to get deep enough in deep position to get the ball there, or sometimes he's initiating offense a bit too much. I don't remember the stats in one game where like on isolations or shots where he's like the main ball handler, they just score less on those because he's not, you know, Kobe or Jordan, or like he's a good ball handler for being 7'4", but he's not a good ball handler for, to tween, like he can do that stuff. He can do really nice moves, really nice dribble moves, and is able to score like that, but that's not the main way he should be prioritized. Stephon Castle in this game was also very rough, ended up with 6 points. He was 1 of 10. His last shot that he made was important though, because it was what I think Wemby of three that he missed, and he immediately got the putback on that. That was huge. They were down by 4. He got it, so they would only be down by 2. I mean, that was big, but 1 of 10. Ugh. And then we got to talk about it. De'Aaron Fox. Oof, the man of the summer. Honestly, he is going to be ridiculed, rightfully so, because in the 10 games that has played in the OKC series and in this final series since he came back. Remember, he'd had a right ankle sprain or injury, something that kept him out in the first 2 games of the OKC series. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox is not fully healthy. He doesn't have the same speed, doesn't have the same burst. He's clearly not fully healthy, obviously, but in the 10 games, he's averaging 12 points on 35% from the field, 24% from three, and just has had terrible fourth quarters. What he was he had 7 points in this game, 3 of 15, 1 of 8 from three. In the fourth quarter, 0 points, 0 of 4. In the third quarter, 2 points, 1 of 3. Um, yeah. 7 points and 5 assists. There's no really getting around that. That's just a terrible game, a terrible performance by him. And as we saw in the last game, just bad turnovers, mistakes, going up for that layup against OG instead of taking the ball out to run the clock out. That was big. Felt like Dylan Harper just lapped him over and over and over again in this series, just proving like, hey, Dylan Harper, he is 20. He should have the ball in the NBA Finals in the fourth quarter to initiate offense with him and Wemby. He should be the main guy handling the ball because De'Aaron Fox, whether it's the injury or he's just not that good right now or ever again, who knows? It was just imperative the more the series went on that the Spurs, De'Aaron Fox was not it. And the Spurs led every single game with a double-digit lead. They had the lead for 69% of the series, and they won a single game. One game. Obviously, in game 4, they had the lead for all but 53 seconds of that game at the end. In this game, the last time the Knicks had the lead was when it was 5-4, and then the Knicks had the lead with about like 2-ish minutes left. Yeah, this team in the second half, consistently, it just looks very confused. Doesn't know where they want to go on offense. And the Knicks very clearly know who to go to, and that's Jalen Brunson, Finals MVP. Not an A1 guy, not a 1A guy, a small guard. You can't win a championship with a small guard, man. Apparently, unless it's Steph Curry or Isaiah Thomas or Jalen Brunson, then you can. He is another exception to that rule because I truly think you can't just put anybody else into Jalen Brunson's spot and just like assume that they can do it too with this team around them. How many other small guards in a 3-1 position on the road are able to put up 45 points when their team scores only 49 other points, when your second best player scores 2 points and is basically out of the game the whole time? You have zero bench production. You are handling and dribbling the ball the majority of the possessions. You are expected in the clutch to always, have your wits about you, your ability to score. Everybody looks at you and looks at this team, who, by the way, just went 16-3 with one of the craziest point differentials. Obviously, they had multiple blowout wins against the Hawks, against the Sixers, against the Cavaliers, where they won by 30, 50, and those games do kind of inflate it a bit. Also, the fact that the 2 games that they lost by only 1 point. So they are really getting like the most out of the plus minus point differential of this series, of this playoff run. However, you can't discredit the fact that they scored 50 points more than the Hawks in a game, or 35 more points than the 76ers in a closeout game. When you're up 3-0, a lot of teams can go, they can lose that game. They can let the other team have a game. The Knicks, no, they put belt to ass. They put their foots on the necks of their opponents and just have gone on this completely unprecedented offensive run, in which, by the way, like, this team was a 53 win team in the regular season, is a good team. It's so surreal seeing this team turn into what it has, because they had the expectations, like, in this East where there's no Boston Celtics, no Pacers. It's just them and the Cavaliers as the real true contenders. For them to actually do it and to actually, take that opportunity where, hey, we are the best constructed team in this conference. We should act like it. But then during the regular season, they have moments. They win the NBA Cup. That's a big thing. They win the NBA Cup over the Spurs. They have moments in January and March where they go on losing streaks. They have quotes throughout the year of Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know my role. I don't know my place. Mikal Bridges has games where he is just not involved. Jalen Brunson has some inefficient games here and there, or sometimes his team just reverts to, hey, Brunson, do everything for us. You're good, but do everything for us in this random February regular season game or this random November game. Like, we need you to do everything instead of us playing as a team. They have just inconsistency all the time in the regular season. And then they go down 2-1 against the Hawks, and you're like, oof, are the Hawks actually going to do this? And then the Knicks just decide, like, we are the better team. We are the more talented team. We know how to play better with each other, and we are just going to not lose. They played an entire month of playoff basketball without losing. They went, after going down 2-1, they went 13-1. Is that right? That's not right, maths. 14-1 to win the NBA championship, losing one game along the way against the Spurs. But then again, not only like blowouts against the Hawks, against the Sixers, but also comebacks, like we said, against the Cavaliers, down 20 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. No, we're just gonna put Brunson on Harden, and he's gonna cook him every single time, and we're gonna come back. That's fine. Game 4, we're down by 25 points, 29 points at most. We're gonna come back from that. We're constantly behind in this series. The Spurs constantly come out in the first quarters looking like the best team in this series, looking like, oh boy, they already are up 15. And we're the Knicks. We're gonna stay around. We're gonna keep doing our thing. Karl Anthony Towns is gonna explode into this playmaking hub. Quality defender, quality rim protector, Karl Anthony Towns. OG Anunoby is going to be perfect from the corners every single time. Mikal Bridges scores 0 points, and then he decides, I'm going to go 69 out of 100 for my next 100 shots. I'm going to score and be insanely efficient on these tough jumpers, on these tough mid-range shots. You're going to give the ball to me, and I'm going to make stuff happen for you. Jose Alvarado, I'm going to be a good guy off the bench. Mitchell Robinson, offensive rebounds. Mikal Bridges, I'm gonna remember that I was a good defender once upon a time, and I'm gonna channel that again, and I'm gonna be a good defender again. And then Jalen Brunson, everybody expects me to have the ball and to score in the clutch and to be the heart and soul of this team. And for whenever we're in a tough situation, I'm gonna be the leader, this and that, and I'm gonna have to score for them. And that is what happened. So there's nothing you can say. Competition, they didn't face this team, they didn't face that team. It doesn't matter. You can't choose who's in front of you, but you can choose how you respond to them and how you play against them. And for the Knicks, after going down 2-1, they just decided we're not going to lose. And we are better than every single team ahead of us. And we're going to prove it to you, and we're going to show you why. And we're going to win in miraculous ways, in game-winning ways, game-winning shot ways, in overtimes, in blowout games, where we're not going to let this team even have a sniff. This game is going to be over by halftime, or it's going to look like we're down by halftime. We're going to give the Spurs one of the best offensive halves in NBA Finals history, and then guess what? We're going to follow it up by giving them one of the worst offensive halves in NBA history. We're going to be down in a complete rock fight where Cat and OG and Mikal, all these role players had great games 1 and 2, and OG had a great game 4, and Jalen Brunson was taking a lot of shots and was not as efficient as he usually is in games 1 and 2. And then in game 5, when, we're up 3-1, we're comfortable. Like, we're in a great spot. We're in the second best spot you can be other than 3-0. But, we're at the Spurs home. If we lose, we got to go back to New York, and you have to win at New York. You don't want to even lose at New York, because then the momentum, you got to go back to game 7 in San Antonio. Oh, man, then you start overthinking it. And it's like, what are we going to do? Cat's in foul trouble again. Nobody on the bench has scored. OG, not really as efficient today. Mikal, he's scoring a bit. Josh Hart is still rebounding. He's hitting his threes. That's good. But, I'm Jalen Brunson, and I'm going to have to score 45 points in the NBA Finals to close this series out, because I know nobody else can do it for this team, and it has to be me. And, that's just, that's probably what he was thinking today. And he was just like, I'm just going to drop 45 points. 45 points? 45 points out of 94? Just ridiculous, bro. Just absolutely ridiculous. And obviously not, like, we know the way that he scores, getting to the paint, his tough step backs, mid-range shots, his threes, turnarounds, the footwork, everything about him, bro. Just incredible. And a complete outlier of outliers in terms of small guards. What a championship by the Knicks, by Jalen Brunson. Deserved finals MVP. Obviously, you could say OG, I think, was more consistent throughout. I think Cat, if he played at the same levels as games 1 and 2, would have definitely been able to have able to win finals MVP. But at the end of the day, you close out the series with 45 points. It's no question about who wins finals MVP. And yeah, Spurs got punched in the mouth, bro. I don't know what else to tell you. Got completely punched in the mouth, but you put up a good series. Every single game was entertaining. Every single game, there was a lead change in the last 2 minutes. Every single game, there was something big that happened, some big blunder or big shot or multiple big shots or runs or cold shooting and hot shooting from one team or the other. And hey, man, that's playoff basketball. That's NBA basketball. That's the NBA season. It's over. The New York Knicks are champions again after 53 years. Who would have thought, again, before this regular season, I think I got to go back. I don't know. I think I might have picked the Knicks to win out of the East at least. But I don't know. Like, it's surreal seeing a team that just in the regular season has so many questions, has so many times where the fan base just loses their mind and is like, oh God, is this really the team? And then to just completely change it up and in the playoffs be 2017 Warriors with KD level, a Jordan Bulls level of dominance and destruction and not losing, sweeping teams, comebacks, just everything you can ask for, every way you could win, and to be consistent in it. It's just unbelievable. It really is. Shout out to New York. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. Shout out to OG. OG. Shout out to Cat. Shout out to Mikal and Josh Hart and the whole team. Mike Brown is an incredible coaching job by Mike Brown. I remember in one of the first podcasts I had at the start of the year, I was talking about, like, I wonder how Mike Brown is going to fare in this, because the team is basically the same as last year when you lost the conference finals. There's going to be a lot of discussion about Mike Brown and how he's able to coach this team and lead them when they're practically the same. And I think for the regular season as well, the rest of the team is just inconsistency. I don't know my role, this and that. In the NBA finals, the NBA playoffs, Mike Brown coached his ass off. And just hats off to him. And Leon Rose, general manager, who put this team together. Mikal Bridges, that's a lot of picks. Doesn't matter. Jalen Brunson, that's a big contract. Doesn't matter. OG, trading away 2 guys for OG Anunoby and giving him a bunch of money. That's a lot of money. Karl Anthony Towns taking, getting rid of Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns. Can he defend? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, because New York. Let the city burn, bro. Let the city burn down and we rebuild it, because the New York Knicks are champions once again.